Tonight, a quiet evening in a Haines City public park took an unexpected and concerning turn. This incident has sent ripples through the local community and the education sector. Parks are typically places for recreation and relaxation, spaces where families gather and children play. However, after darkness falls, these public areas can sometimes become settings for activities far removed from their intended purpose. This was starkly illustrated in a recent event involving a local educator. The discovery has raised serious questions and prompted an immediate law enforcement response, highlighting the challenges that can emerge even in seemingly peaceful community settings. Authorities report that a teacher from the Polk County School District was found in the park under circumstances that quickly led to her arrest. According to police statements, the teacher was discovered after normal park operating hours. Officers on patrol reportedly observed suspicious activity, which prompted them to investigate further. It was during this investigation that law enforcement officials allegedly found the teacher in possession of and actively using methamphetamine. This is a serious controlled substance with significant legal ramifications. The specifics of the encounter are still part of an ongoing investigation, but the initial reports paint a grim picture. The arrest was made on site, and the teacher was taken into custody. She now faces charges related to drug possession, a serious offense under Florida law. The presence of illegal drugs, particularly a substance like methamphetamine, in a public space is a matter of grave concern for law enforcement and community leaders alike. The fact that the individual involved is employed as a teacher, a position of public trust and responsibility, adds another layer of complexity and concern to this developing story. The initial charges are just the beginning of what will likely be a challenging legal journey for the accused individual. The news of the teacher's arrest spread quickly, causing understandable shock and dismay among parents, students, and colleagues. School communities are often tight-knit, and an incident of this nature can be deeply unsettling for everyone involved. The school district was promptly informed of the arrest and has begun its own internal review processes. Questions are naturally arising about the teacher's conduct and the potential impact on her students and the school environment. This incident serves as a stark reminder that the actions of individuals, especially those in positions of influence, can have far-reaching consequences beyond their personal lives. Florida maintains strict laws regarding the possession and use of controlled substances, and methamphetamine is classified among the most dangerous. Under state statutes, the possession of any amount of methamphetamine is typically a felony offense. This is not a minor infraction. A felony conviction carries severe potential penalties. These penalties can include substantial prison sentences, hefty fines, and a permanent criminal record that can impact an individual's life long after any sentence is served. The Florida legislature has consistently taken a hard line on drug crimes, reflecting a statewide concern about the impact of illegal narcotics on communities and public safety. For someone charged with possession of methamphetamine, the legal road ahead can be daunting. A conviction for a third-degree felony, which is common for methamphetamine possession, could result in up to 5 years in prison and a fine of up to $5,000. The exact sentence would depend on various factors, including the specific amount of the drug involved, any prior criminal history, and other circumstances surrounding the case. The state's prosecutors will carefully review the evidence gathered by law enforcement before determining the final charges and how vigorously they will pursue a conviction. The system is designed to be punitive for such offenses. Beyond the standard penalties, other factors could potentially influence the severity of the consequences. While the incident occurred in a public park, the time of day and specific location within the park might be considered. If the park were near a school or other area designated as a drug-free zone during certain hours, penalties could theoretically be enhanced, though this depends on the specific statutes and the timing of the offense. As a public employee, the teacher might also face heightened scrutiny, although the criminal penalties are generally applied based on the offense itself rather than the offender's profession, unless specific laws apply to public officials. The teacher will now navigate the criminal justice system. This process typically begins with an arraignment, where formal charges are presented and a plea is entered. She will have the right to legal representation, and if she cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for her. The case could proceed to a trial, or it might be resolved through a plea agreement with the prosecution. Regardless of the path taken, the criminal charges represent a significant legal hurdle with potentially life-altering consequences. The outcome of this criminal case will have a direct bearing on her personal freedom and her future. Alongside the criminal proceedings, the teacher faces an entirely separate review process conducted by her employer, the Polk County School District. School districts across Florida have established codes of conduct and ethics that all employees are expected to follow. These policies often extend beyond the school day and the school grounds. The rationale is that a teacher's behavior, even in their private life, can reflect upon the school system and impact their fitness to serve as an educator and role model for students. These codes are taken very seriously by school administrators. Many school district policies include clauses addressing conduct unbecoming a professional or behavior that demonstrates moral turpitude. An arrest for drug possession, especially involving a substance like methamphetamine, would almost certainly trigger a review under these types of provisions. The district has a responsibility to ensure a safe and positive learning environment for its students. Therefore, allegations of serious misconduct by an employee, particularly illegal drug use, prompt immediate administrative action. This typically involves placing the teacher on administrative leave pending the outcome of both the criminal investigation and the district's internal inquiry. The administrative process, while distinct from the criminal case, also has established procedures to ensure fairness. The teacher must be formally notified of the allegations against her and the potential employment actions the district is considering. She will be given an opportunity to respond to these allegations and present her side of the story. This is a critical component of due process. The school board will ultimately review the findings of the internal investigation, consider the nature of the charges, and decide on the appropriate course of action, which could range from disciplinary measures up to and including termination of employment. Beyond the local school district, the Florida Department of Education also plays a crucial role in overseeing teacher conduct and certification. The department's Office of Professional Practices Services investigates allegations of misconduct by educators that could warrant disciplinary action against their teaching certificate. An arrest and potential conviction for a drug-related felony can lead to the suspension or permanent revocation of a teaching license in Florida. This means that even if the teacher were to avoid criminal conviction or retain her job locally, her ability to teach anywhere in the state could be jeopardized by the state licensing board's independent review. The teaching profession is built on a foundation of trust. Parents entrust educators with the intellectual and moral development of their children. Students look to their teachers as guides, mentors, and role models. The community invests its resources and confidence in the school system, expecting it to uphold high standards of professionalism and integrity. When a teacher is accused of serious wrongdoing such as illegal drug use, that fundamental trust can be severely damaged. This erosion of confidence affects not only the individual teacher, but can also cast a shadow on the wider school community and the teaching profession itself. It is precisely because of this unique position of influence and responsibility that teachers are often held to a higher standard of conduct. Their actions, both on and off duty, are subject to greater scrutiny. Society expects teachers to embody the values they are meant to instill in their students: responsibility, lawfulness, and sound judgment. An incident involving illegal drug activity directly contradicts these expectations and raises serious questions about an individual's suitability to remain in a classroom environment where they shape young, impressionable minds daily. The potential consequences for the Haines City teacher are manifold and severe. Criminally, she faces the possibility of incarceration, fines, and a lasting criminal record. Professionally, her career is in jeopardy. The school district could terminate her employment based on the violation of its conduct policies. Furthermore, the Florida Department of Education has the authority to revoke her teaching certificate, which would effectively end her ability to teach in any public school in the state. These are not minor repercussions. They represent a profound and potentially irreversible impact on her life and livelihood. In conclusion, this unfortunate situation underscores the critical importance for all educators to adhere strictly to both legal and professional standards of conduct. The responsibilities that come with being a teacher extend far beyond classroom instruction. They encompass a commitment to ethical behavior and an understanding that personal choices can have significant professional ramifications. While every individual is entitled to due process and a fair hearing, the standards for those entrusted with educating children remain necessarily high. This case serves as a somber reminder of those expectations and the serious outcomes when they are not met.